Good afternoon. Here is your drought and climate briefing for your Thursday, June 17th, provided by the National Weather Service offices in Glasgow and Billings. Let's first take a look at your climate recap for the months of January through May. Temperatures are on the left and precipitation rankings are on the right. You see much of the northern plains and stretching into northeast Montana, seeing above normal temperature conditions, with much of central, southeast Montana, and northern Wyoming seeing temperatures ranking pretty close to normal as you factor in some of those colder winter months that we had. As for precipitation rankings, you see the driest conditions were across the Dakotas, and that stretched into northeast Montana, but overall much of the region seeing below normal precipitation values. Now as we headed into the month of June, the heat really strengthened across the region from about the Great Basin area into Wyoming and across the northern plains, and we were on the northern edge of that, but the entire region seeing above normal temperature conditions, some of those darker red shades indicating temperatures anywhere from 9 to over 12 degrees above normal for the first half of June. And some areas seeing some of the warmest temperatures ever this past Tuesday, with conditions well over 100 degrees in many areas. Looking at precipitation was light for many areas. One exception was into northeast Montana, but much of central southern Montana into Wyoming seeing much below normal precipitation amounts, if any at all, in some areas. The exception was in northeast Montana, where we did have a couple systems that moved through and produced some locally heavy rain with some strong thunderstorms. Outlining two particular events, one on June 8th and one on June 10th, producing those precipitation amounts. You can see the green shades indicating precipitation amounts more widespread of over 1/4 of an inch in many areas for both of those events, and even some areas in those yellow shades where precipitation amounts exceeded 1.5 inches or upwards of over 2 inches in some areas. As you look further south, though, across portions of southern Montana into Wyoming, precipitation amounts were much less, and many areas remained dry, enhancing the drought conditions across those areas. Taking a look at some climate snapshots, this is for Glasgow on the left and Billings on the right. Pay closer attention to the middle chart there, showing the lighter green shades is the accumulated precipitation year to date. Glasgow is seeing 2.76 inches of precipitation thus far. This remaining well below normal, in fact 3.44 inches below normal. Billings on the right started out fairly decent in precipitation amounts into the month of March and portions of April. Then precipitation has become much lighter into our wetter months of May and June. In fact, very little precipitation across the southern portion of the state for the month of June has really put some deficits across the region, with Billings now 2.88 inches below normal. You can get a full report for conditions across various cooperative observer locations across Montana with that link provided. So how does this all convert into our current drought status? You can see the highlighted area mostly across North Dakota into northeast Montana for our region. There has been some improvements across northeast Montana due to those couple heavy rainfall events, and some degradation in the drought conditions across portions of south central Montana. As we zoom into Montana, you can kind of get a feel for some of those areas where we were experiencing extreme drought across pretty much all of northeast Montana. That has been whittled down slightly with conditions to D2 into the severe drought category. And then across portions of south central Montana, where precipitation has been much lighter and non-existent in many areas, abnormally dry conditions have expanded, and even some moderate to severe drought conditions expanding for areas north and west of Billings. One important note that we always want to stress, your drought reports are important in monitoring our drought conditions out there, so please use these drought reporter links on the top here to report the conditions that you're seeing out your window. That will help provide input to the U.S. Drought Monitor. How do things look in the short term as we start to look at precipitation totals? The map there on the right is forecast precipitation over the next 7 days. So this takes us through next Thursday, June 24th. You kind of see a hole there in precipitation amounts across northeast Montana where precipitation is expected to be the lightest. A little bit better precipitation chances exist along the mountains and into the foothills across portions of central and western Montana into northern Wyoming. We do have one system coming through Sunday, which will produce some cooler conditions and showers. And again, the most widespread precipitation, as you see on the map, will be into the mountains and foothill areas. And the northeast part of the state actually probably missing out on a lot of the rainfall, but any rainfall will be scattered in those areas. Otherwise, much of the region will remain dry through the 7-day period with overall probably above normal temperatures. 8 to 14 day outlook as we progress through the end of June. You can see temperatures there on the right are indicating trends toward above normal temperature conditions, and precipitation on the right there indicating a little bit better chance of above normal precipitation amounts again across the mountains and foothills, and that's surrounded by below normal precipitation across portions of the Dakotas and into northeast Montana. And so precipitation conditions will vary across the region, so pay close attention to the latest forecasts as we progress through the month of June. Our summer outlook and even progressing into the fall, here are the outlooks for the months of July, August, and September with temperatures on the left and precipitation on the right. You can see much of the Rockies and northern high plains still trending toward those above normal temperatures, and precipitation also trending toward below normal conditions. So not a whole lot of potential for drought conditions to improve. If anything, we are anticipating the potential for degradation in drought conditions across the region as we progress through the summer months. Thank you for listening to our latest drought outlook. If you have any questions, those are some links to Patrick Gilchrist from the National Weather Service in Glasgow and myself, Tom Frieders from the National Weather Service in Billings. We appreciate your attention and stay tuned, and we'll update you again next month. Thank you.